How's it going, guys? It is Erdy here, and it's time for episode number 26 of our Colorado Avalanche BAGM mode. So in the last episode, we started simming the first part of year 5, and we went on a record of 26, 14, and 2. And as you'll just see in a second, the best players were basically pretty much the expected players. A couple players stood out and played really well. But once the stats are done loading up, we'll take a look at that. And as you can see, in terms of points, it's just basically McKinnon, Yakupov, Ritchie, our first line. The youngsters are pretty much dominating at this point. McKinnon more of like a sister. Yeah, although he is -4, that's something pretty odd to see. Ekblad with a +17 leads our team, but Schultz is not doing well in terms of the plus-minus and considering other factors. But yeah, McKinnon, Yakupov, Ritchie pretty much doing well. We've got Ladd, who's doing well, and then a guy like Landeskog has a weird thing about him because he's only got 15 points, although he is a +4. We can improve our team going into the playoffs and the trade deadline, but there's certain risks we have to take because we do have to re-sign a couple players in the off season, and those are a couple big names at that too. So let's take a look quickly. We have Ladd to re-sign, LeBlanc, who I don't know, I might just let go. Braden Shen, definitely want to re-sign him. Ferraro might just be able to let go unless we can get him for cheap. Conan's an AHLer, so it doesn't matter. McKinnon will definitely want a pay increase to probably around 6.5, 7 mil. Ritchie as well, and Ernie, who will also be earning probably around 3 mil. So we have 30 mil in cap space. We might be able to sign most of these players, except for like let's say Ferraro and LeBlanc, but it's looking good for our team. But the question is, what do we do with guys like Ladd, Landeskog, who haven't really been developing too well? I mean, Ekman, Larson, Ritchie, McKinnon are pretty much staying on our team. Schultz might be able to move. Myers, we might be able to move. These guys have, he has one more year on his contract, so he's probably going to want a little bit more once that contract's done. He's already 27, stop growing. Schultz as well, 27, stop growing. Although Schultz, I believe he has a little bit more of a better upside. As you can see, pretty much Myers is dominant everywhere. But I believe Schultz is pretty much the better offensive player. He has the better shooting category, skating, puck skills, 98 passing, 98 puck control, 95 offensive awareness. He's definitely the power play anchor man, just to say, and he might be one to keep. But we also might be able to move Myers. Landeskog's another option. He's making 5.5 mil at an 86 overall, and he's signed for another, I don't know, three years, I'm guessing, after this. So his big contract might be able to load off because we'll need the space for other people. But we'll take a look closer to the trade deadline. We'll see what options are available, and the last thing we want to do is hurt our team. So let's sim up to the AllStar break. We'll take a look at who made the All-Stars. But the thing that we don't want to do is end up decreasing the level of our team and the level of play. We don't want to end up trading Landeskog away for like some 75 overall prospect, even though he might have 4.5 gold star. He might be 19 years old. We're decreasing our chances of winning the playoffs. So what we'll have to do is we'll draft a couple. We'll take a look at scouting, see what we can get. There's a couple goalies here, even though we don't need them. Defenseman, there's a top 10. Sweetland 4.5. That might actually be a decent player to go after. A couple guys here who don't look too good, even though they're top 10. But definitely want to use our later round picks because we might be able to get a couple guys. So you know what? We'll just scout the QMJHL and see if there's any like 4th rounders or something that we can get a steal on, and hopefully they can help us out in the long run as well. So once again, let's sim to the All-Star game, and we'll take a look at if any of our players made it. I'm hoping McKinnon, maybe Lehner makes it, something like that. Game here against the Islanders. We're on the road, and we're going to win that one 3-0. Nice shout out for Robin Lehner. So nice job to see Robin Lehner performing well here, a game against the Columbus Blue Jackets, and they're not doing too bad this year either, and we're going to lose that one 2-1, unfortunately. So the road trip ends. We're back at home against the weaker Capitals. Even though they have Ovechkin, they still don't have that great of a record. Let's see how we're going to do here, and we are going to win that one 4-3. So nice job by our team. Then we've got a game against the Leafs at home, and then the Bruins at home as well, and then it's off to the All-Star break. So Leafs pretty much a dominant team. Reimer, Kessel all leading. Kessel is just beast in this GM mode. Game against the Bruins here, and then we are going to win 5-1. So I lost 3-1 to the Leafs, but we do win 5-1 going into the All-Star break. with 2 points. So nice job to see from our team there. And we're going to take a look at who made the All-Star game, and we'll go from there. And then we have to make some decisions going into the trade deadline, which I'll probably just make in this episode and then sim to the end of the season in this episode. But yeah, there's definitely a lot of things we have to consider as a GM. So let's take a look at who made the All-Star game for our team. And nothing here so far. Yakupov made it, so that's nice to see. Hanovsky, it's a weird name. Pretty much no one else here. No defenseman. Let's take a look if Lehner made it as a backup. So nice job to see Robin Lehner make it as a backup. But Yakupov's the only player that actually made it. He has 17 goals, probably a couple more apples in there to make so the points go up. But anyways, the trade deadline is right here, a game against Philadelphia in March. So let's take a look. Let's sim, let's say, 5 games before the trade deadline. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Sim right there. And we'll see if there's any players we have to trade away and if we can improve our team somehow. Just gonna grab a water. I'll be right back. And we're back. So I just need to grab a drink of water. Might be taking a couple more during this episode. I'm a little sick right now, so I'm trying to struggle through this episode, but hopefully my voice doesn't sound too raspy. But anyways, a couple games here before we reevaluate our team going into the trade deadline. A game here against the Buffalo Sabres, who have Makarov in net, and we're going to lose that one 2-1, unfortunately. I believe in overtime, though. So do we get a point for that one? But still, we want to see your team winning. We want to see your team finish in the top in the Western Conference. A nice win there against the Red Wings in the rivalry game here against the Panthers, and on the road as well. We are going to win that 1-2-0. A nice shutout for Lehner as well. Now we have a couple home games here against Carolina, Columbus, and New Jersey. All Eastern Conference opponents. And hopefully we can hold on and get a couple wins here. We finally hit 31 wins, which the Leafs had before the All-Star break. So game here against Carolina, we do win that one as well. And so Yakupov, McKinnon still on a roll. Lehner doing pretty much dominating for our team. 1 goal, another 1-goal game for Lehner, another 3-1 win. Now a game against New Jersey, who aren't doing too well at all this year. And we are going to win that one 4-2. So that was Picard in net, I believe, because Lehner didn't get a win there. And still another one more home game against the Islanders. Then we got a road game against the Jets, and then back at home against the Wild. So game against the Islanders here, what are we going to do? And we are going to win that one 5-0, and a shutout for Lehner. And Lehner is pretty much carrying our team at this point. Our offense is doing well too, but it's always nice to see your goalie step up at a time like this when your team kind of being a little bit streaky, and we just put together a nice solid win streak for our team. Game against the Jets, we're going to lose, unfortunately, 3-2. And hopefully we can bounce back at home against the Wild. As we do, a nice 4-2 win there, Lehner with another win. So 2 more games till we take a look at our team. Here on the road against LA, and then back home against the Ducks. I don't know how good LA is so far. Decently good. Probably in a playoff spot. See if we can win this one on the road. And we do 5-1. Nice job by our team. Lehner once again holding the LA offense to 1 goal against. Then here against the Anaheim Ducks, how are we going to do here at home? We're going to shut them out 4-0. Beautiful. So Lehner pretty much dominating as of late. He's a very, very hot player. And going into about 5 games before the trade deadline, let's take a look at how our players are doing so far. If Landy has improved. If Lad's, I'm guessing we might just be keeping Lad, even though he's 32 and he might be walking away from us in free agency. It's just, he's definitely an integral part to our team, as you can see by points here. Yakupov jumps up to 50 points, taking over the lead from McKinnon. But McKinnon, Ritchie, and Yakupov doing really well on the first line. Then we got Shen stepping up here with 36 points. Ladd and Ernie chipping in. And O'Reilly not even doing too bad as a third-line center. Although our defense hasn't really been scoring as much as they used to in most years. Landeskog only got 21 points. Myers, 21. Elliott is second on our team in defenseman for 20 points. Ekman Larson, although he's played 40 games, so he's probably be having the lead for our team in points because he was injured at the start of the year. But let's take a look at the goalies real quick. And as you'll see, Lehner pretty much dominating. 1.76 goals against average, 35 and 11, 93.43 save percentage. Holy smokes, he'll definitely be a contender for the Vezina in the NHL. Let me just take a look at who's got the best save percentage in the NHL, and it's Holtby up there first. So he's having a good year, but Lehner's around the top right there. So Holtby, Varlamov, Bernier, and Lehner doing very, very well so far this year. But anyways, let's look at the skaters real quick. Top skaters in the NHL in terms of points. And as you see, Filatov is actually the leading point player, followed by Spezza. So I guess it's a good line there. Kessel's not playing too bad either. Crosby decently well. Goals, Drouin. So not much of our players, but we still have a very, very good team along with a very good defensive team and a very good goalie. So that's our team, and let's got to consider. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to sim right before the trade deadline. We'll take a look at the trading block and what kind of players are potentially that we can potentially acquire to help out our team, both in the long run, and if they do help out in the long run quite a bit, that they don't screw up our current team as of right now. So like we could trade away a guy, let's say like Myers, for a better player, even though Myers has been pretty good so far, or a younger player that's like an 84 overall, let's say. But let's just take a look here. Yeah, that's fine. Well, press the wrong button. But anyways, yeah, so we'll sim these 3 games, and then we'll take a look at our who we can get to improve our team. I'm thinking maybe a guy like Cody Tsechi isn't bad in terms of a replacement over Myers. I think he's like 85 or 84 overall. So we'll definitely be keeping an eye on him. And just a couple more games till we get to that point. 39 and 18. All right. So let's just fix up that scouting assignment. I'll just go anywhere. It doesn't really matter. Let's say defenseman in the OHL 6 weeks. There we go. All right, so sim across the Dallas game, and then we'll take a look at who we can go after. So we need to trade away Ladd. If he doesn't happen this year, we'll try to re-sign him. If we can't, then he's gone to free agency. So even if we do re-sign him, we'll probably trade him away at the in the off season anyway. So definitely, if we could get someone good for him in the return right now, that'd definitely be great. But if we can't, that's all right. So anyways, forwards, let's say forwards from 17 to 25. Let's search up the list and see what we get. So in terms of overall, there's a couple players here that aren't too bad. Definitely won't be getting any of these guys, but anyone from here down is possible to get. So a guy like Sven Berchi, not too bad. Scheifele isn't bad at all. Zibanejad, Toffoli, these guys are all hitting 25, so they're a little bit older. Let's try to look for someone that's young. So there you go, N. Motri. 83 overall, 4-star yellow, so he might not develop as well as we want him to. Ernie's not doing too bad down there. Mistelli, who's got pretty good four-star green potential, so that might be a player to be interested in. And he will end up dropping down to, let's say, a third line player as of right now, but he definitely is a little bit of a worse player than Ladd, but still, take a look at that shot. 87 wrist shot accuracy, 99 power, and his slap shot's really good as well. As you can see, he's not doing too well in the NHL this year and last year, but he's got the stats to be a good player. Anyways, there's another player that I wanted to check out. His name is Hofel, so Daryl Hofel, 19-year-old. He was drafted, I believe, 2nd overall in the 2017 draft. Power forward, 6'2", 231. Nice, good old Canadian boy, but pretty good stats all around. Could be better defensively, offensively in terms of awareness. But yeah, he might be definitely a player we could acquire in the offseason. 4.5-star gold potential, 1979 overall already. So I think as of right now, there's no one really we can go after. Let's take a look at the defense. We might be able to trade a guy like Myers for him, and I just pressed the wrong button. We'll go 17 to, let's say, 25 with 4 stars. Now we're trying to look for a little bit younger than 25 because Myers is only 27. I mean, he's still good, but there's a couple of players that we can go after. Let's look at overall. We don't want to screw up our team even more. But as you can see, Tsechi, 86 overall, definitely a player to watch, and he's only 24 years old. Trevelyan, also a guy we can get, but he's already 2 years younger, I think, as well. And he's got better potential, so he might be an interesting player to go after. Trevelyan, as you can see, has got great shooting, really good skating, good physical stats, but his puck skills and senses are pretty bad. Great on defense, though. But Cody Tsechi is more of an offense player, really good on defense as well, good on offense, pretty much an all-around beast at this point. Physicality lacks a little bit, but definitely can improve. But the problem is he's already 24. He's only 3 years younger than Myers, and he might be able to cut off right now in terms of development. While Trevelyan could has better potential, so he might even be able to develop into a better player. Let's say an 88, 89 overall player. So we got to keep an eye out on that. Also, another guy that's interesting to see is this guy, Carl Colliton, who's got 4.5-star yellow potential. And take a look at his stats, or his height and weight, I guess. 6'9". Stats kind of a bit lacking, but 6'9" is definitely a player that you don't see come around too often in this game. But what we can do is we can sort by potential, just to see if we want to get a 4.5-star back. I mean, Seth Jones probably won't be able to get him. Griffin Reinhart, 24.74, definitely won't be able. Definitely not interested. So I think a guy like Trevelyan is definitely a player that we can go after, and if Minnesota does have the cap, we can go after them. If not, we could always try to get Tsechi. So let's press the wrong button. Oh, never mind. All right, so Trevelyan, and they do want Myers, and look at Myers' trade value. We might be able to get even more in return. We have to take some cap off their team as well. So maybe if we could pick up a veteran, and let's say get a guy like Pominville or Hanovsky who could replace Ladd, and we could trade away Ladd for a guy like Hofel, who might be able to turn into a decent player in the future. So yeah, I was thinking maybe that wouldn't be too bad of an idea. If we could get a guy like Hanovsky, he might be good enough to just replace Ladd, or let's say a guy like Heatley, who's got 1 year left on his contract, and once it expires, that's $5 million freed up for us to sign the people in the free agency to add to our team. So let's try Hanovsky because he's 27, $1 million only his contract, and he's a decent player as of right now, 84 overall. He made the All-Star team, and look at his stats, not bad at all. Not bad at all. Season stats, he's got 48 points in 61 games, so definitely a player that would help out our team. So let's see what we can get. If we could try this out, I'll retain some cap as of right now, just to try to get this trade to be passed through, which I don't think it will be because it's still not getting league approved, even though I retain everything. So that's one thing we'll have to look out for, is maybe get Heatley and maybe try to get something else from it, and try to basically handle the situation to get as much as we can out of this trade. I mean, Myers' trade value is still very good. They do want to get rid of Heatley, so that, let's say, splits his trade value in half. Myers gets full bars, Trevelyan around a little bit higher up. So let's say we get like a first, which might be too much, but they're looking to move it. So you know what? Let's throw in like our second or something. Or I think we trade away quite a bit of our seconds. A third and another third. Or let's say we trade away our first in 2019 and a third in 2020 or 2019, and see if that goes through. If we get a first round pick with Heatley and Trevelyan, Trevelyan definitely steps in nicely. Heatley allows us to trade away Ladd for a guy like Hofel, who's a prospect, and maybe a pick because of trade values, and then we end up giving up our first round pick, which probably won't be too good anyways. So let's see if this goes through, which it does not, because it is asking a little bit too much. Let's say we take away the first. Let's ask for a second instead. We'll take away the third. Myers for Trevelyan should go through a one-on-one. I don't want to give up a first of mine for a second of theirs, so it's kind of hard because we do want that first, but the trade value is just insanely high. We could ask for a 2019 first. Maybe that'll go through. Completely not off base, but the value you're sending our way is insufficient at all. So let's just say we take out the first. We'll ask for Heatley and Trevelyan for Myers. I think this will go through, and Heatley definitely allows us to once again trade away Ladd to pick up a prospect or a pick or something like that. 84 overall and 37 years old. So he has good poise. I mean, that's something you want to have going to playoffs. 85 overall, 85 poise. So let's see if this goes through. First, let's try to add a second. Will that go through? No. Okay, so let's take out the second. Healy and Trevelyan for Myers. Does that go through? No, it doesn't. Alright, so either they're kind of being a little bit douchey with us, but let's say, what do they want? Skaters matching block. Okay, so let's take a look. Definitely not going to give away any of these players. Maybe someone in our AHL, a guy like Lee we can throw in there to help out their forwards, to replace them. Healy and Trevelyan for Myers and Lee. And let's ask for a second overall pick, or a first round pick as well. Just play around, see what we can get. That definitely won't go through. How about a second? No, that won't go through as well. So let's get rid of that. How about Lee and Myers for Trevelyan and Healy? That does go through. Alright. So we give up an AHLer in Lee, but we do pick up Healy. And Myers is gone. The era is over. It might not have been the smartest move to make, but Trevelyan definitely sets up our team. He's pretty much similar to Myers in terms of his the way he can play the game. A guy like Conan we could send to the minors, and our team is looking pretty good going into the rest of the season. So we make a trade before the trade deadline. In terms of overall, we still got Zach Smith in the AHL just ready to go whenever needed, and this trade for Heatley allows us to maybe trade away Ladd, although I don't know whether to go after, let's say, a pick like the first overall, or let's say we'll just do best lines for now, or let's say go after someone like Hopeful in Boston, I believe. Where is he? Guessing he's not in Boston. Dallas? No, he's not in here. Alright, so I'll find where Hoffa went, and we can see what we can get from him and more in return, because there definitely is some players to be had here that could definitely help out our team. Hoffa can temporarily help out our team, but the fact that he's so young and has very good potential, as you guys can see, pretty much 79 overall, already at 19 years old. It's kind of tough to find in most of these drafts, but he plays for Florida. We have a lot of salary cap, so we can dump away Ladd even though they don't want him. But the trade value's there. I mean, we can ask for a little bit more. Not too sure who we would get, but it'd be interesting to see who we can use to improve our team. I mean, a guy like Torrey Krug probably wouldn't help, but Colborne, Mueller, these guys could help out our team and add some depth going to the playoffs. Let's see if they have any other prospects that they'd be willing to part off with. Probably won't be giving up their first overall pick, but a guy like Bittner, who is 21, 58, definitely probably won't develop into a decent player at all. Let's say we take a look at their draft position. They do have Ottawa second. Ottawa's not bad this year. Let's say they're second for Ladd and Hopeful. That might be a little bit too little. Let's try their first. If we can get their first and Hopeful for Ladd, I think I'm okay with that. We're making our team a little bit worse, but I think our team is still strong enough to contend in the playoffs. Might be a little bit too much, but we do get Ladd's contract out of the way, and we get definitely a very good prospect in Daryl Hopeful and a first round pick if this does go through. So let's check it out. Send the trade, see what we get, and they're not going to do anything about that because they don't want to give away any players at this point, and they don't really want Ladd, so that's an issue. In this case, let's ask for like a second and Hopeful for Ladd, and that does go through. All right, so we might have got the short end of the stick here. There's a little bit of a challenge because we did get a little bit worse, but Hopeful is definitely a player that we're using to build up in our future. I mean, Heatley's going to be gone. We have space to sign more players. Hopefully we'll probably send to the AHL for now. I think he was playing in the NHL for the Panthers. Not too good. He had a good plus-minus and that kind of stuff. But if we send him to the first line, play on the first line in the AHL, I think he'll definitely be able to... He has to go back to major junior. Alright, so you know what? We'll send him to the juniors for the rest of the year. I don't know if this is hampering... I don't want him to stay on the bench or play on my fourth line, so let's just send him to the juniors. He could develop there, do a good job, and then he'll come back better than ever in the offseason. So, after that, a couple moves for our team. just before this trade deadline, and that definitely shakes up everything pretty much. So as you can see, once we use the best lines, now we have Ernie playing on our second line, who hasn't been playing bad at all this year. As you can see, 37 points in 62 games, plus 16. He's been really good for our team, actually, in the past couple of years. But Braden Shen, Ernie, and Landeskog kind of decreases our team. On defense, now we have Trevelyan with Ekblad, two young guys with Elliott and Barry still there, and Schultz and Ekman-Larsson leading the way, and then Heatley, O'Reilly, and McGinn, and finally Hartman, Ferraro, and LeBlanc. So we do improve in terms of cap space quite a bit because we do get rid of Myers' contract, and we do get rid of Ladd's contract, who was expiring at the end of the year. We might have to have been able to trade him away. Now, kind of, a lot of you guys might be asking whether I'm giving up the present for the future. And that is true. I'm giving up a guy, Ladd, who's 87 overall, who could definitely help us make another deep playoff run for a guy like Hopeful, who's now in the now back in the CHL. So we're taking our chances here. Hopefully they end up paying off. We do have some cap room available, so we could take on, let's say, trade away one of our first for like an oldie that can help out our team as well in terms of depth, like an 84 or 85, to play on that first second line instead of Ernie. But there's always room for that going into the trade deadline. So I'm going to end this episode off as of right now. I'll let you guys let me know. I guess we'll sim right into the day of the trade deadline. If you guys want me to make any other moves, let me know. Maybe trade for an oldie. We can take a look at the older players as of right now. But first game back with our new team, without Ladd, without Myers. Hopefully it's a win, so I feel a little bit better, and it is a 6-2 win. Nice job by our team there. We'll just stop by our trading block and we'll take a look. Coach's recommendation for now. But yeah, let's see what we can get here. Let's say a second line forward that we can get, who's between the ages of like 31 and 39. Let's apply that. Search, and in terms of trade value, what we can get back is some pretty decent players for not too much. So overall, Umberger, Hemsky, kind of these guys for 1-year contracts. Heatley we already have. Guys with poise that could help us to lead us to the cup. Mihalik and Plekanec, those guys might be a little bit more of a might be asking for too much there. But let's say first line forward, and we'll go up to like 32. Apply that, take a look at it. And so yeah, Ovi, man, 94 overall, holy smokes. Anyways, trade value for first liners, we could get a guy like Pominville, who might have been a better player than Camilleri at this point, but he's got 4 years left on, he's 35, so it might not be the best idea. But a guy like Semin, who has 7 mil, we could afford. We can trade away quite a bit, and he'll definitely be a nice replacement over Ladd. So let me know what you guys think. I think our team is looking perfectly fine going into it. I think our team is still one of the best teams in the league, and we'll end off this episode because it's kind of stretched out a little bit with those trades, but we'll be back with the next episode to finish off the rest of this season. We might be able to trade Landeskog if you guys want me to, but there's not really much to go after, and then we'll start out the playoffs. So hopefully it looks like our team's pretty much set in terms of playoffs. I guess let's take a look at these standings real quick. As you guys see, we're third in the league, 1 point behind Edmonton, and about 7 behind the Leafs. So we might be able to catch up, but most likely they'll probably end up running away with the President's Trophy. But anyways, hope you guys enjoyed this episode of my Colorado Avalanche BAGM mode, and I'll see you guys later. Peace.